Greg Trotwine with Marine Technology TV, and we're very pleased to be joined by Paula Mendonça, the Executive Director, the Ocean Startup Project, to discuss this important program and its role in the Newfoundland and Labrador cluster. So Paula, to start, can you give us a brief personal and professional background with insights on your tenure and your role at the Ocean Startup Project?
Absolutely. And Greg, thanks so much for having me here. I really appreciate it. And talking about the ocean is one of my passions. So I'm really glad to talk about the Ocean Startup Project and what we're doing. Again, like you mentioned, right now I'm the executive director of the Ocean Startup Project. I am originally from Portugal, so I always live really close from the ocean. My background is marine biology and fisheries. I came to Newfoundland and Labrador 22 years ago to pursue my PhD in, again, same area. And then I never left. I start working at the end of my PhD, I started working at Memorial University in research commercialization. I realized I didn't want it to be in academia the same way. I still had a passion for research, and it's really the best of both worlds. So you have a foot on everything that is happening at the university, and at the same time you're trying to really transfer that knowledge and those technologies outside of the university to impact community and industry. So super interesting. And during that tenure, again, my role evolved until I was the first director of innovation and entrepreneurship at Memorial, under the Research Innovation Office. In the meantime, that is still officially my role, but I've been seconded for the next couple of years as the executive director of the Ocean Startup Project. And I love it because it's really a convergence of both my background in marine biology, but also my career that has always been building around entrepreneurship, research commercialization, innovation. So thrilled to be doing this role right now.
Now, for our viewers, so they can understand the breadth and the depth of the Ocean Startup Project, can you give us a by the numbers look at the organization today?
Of course. And again, the organization is very, very new. So the Ocean Startup Project was brought together in 2020 as a vision of different Atlantic Canadian partners saw that there was this amazing opportunity to do more and better in the ocean sector by fostering ocean startups. In the meantime, and I know I'm not saying the numbers right now, which is a brief intro, but in the meantime, the project grew, the need was national, and of course now in our steering committee we have partners from British Columbia coast and also from Quebec, the Technopole Maritime du Québec. So again, our vision is national, and in terms of numbers, we have supported since 2020 184 startups, and we have awarded over 3.2 million in funding through all of our programs. That number is going to raise really quickly because we have just announced this morning the next 25 startups that are participating in the Ocean Idea Challenge. So again, those numbers are going to rise. And if you look at our release from this morning, you'll see that we have incredible teams from coast to coast, including 5 of them here in Newfoundland and Labrador as well. In terms of job creation, 350 jobs nationwide, and the challenge winners have raised about 19 million in equity investment and 14 million in non-dilutive funding. Again, these numbers might be bigger. We do surveys every year, and not everyone responds to the surveys, as you know, but we have a really good roster of ventures that are really making an impact. One thing that is particularly makes me very proud of my team is the fact that Startup Genome last year, they did their Climate Tech edition, and in terms of blue economy ecosystems, Atlantic Canada came number 8, which was amazing. Vancouver, number 14. But the Ocean Startup Project was also recognized as a top 5 accelerator incubator in North America and top 10 globally in the blue economy sector. Considering that the project only started in 2020, They were taking data for this report since 2018, really showcased the work that the team has been putting in to really foster this ecosystem and really have startups and innovators see that this is an area that has a lot of opportunity.
So, Paula, I've worked with incubators and accelerators in my career, and again, looking to take that technology out of academia and find it at home in the commercial space. Now, I understand that you have a program within your walls, Lab to Market Oceans. So, I was hoping you can give us a little insight on that specific program, with insight also on how it aims to find and help push along different technologies and different projects out of academia.
Absolutely. And Lab to Market is one of my favorite things ever. That's how I got involved with the Ocean Startup Project, even before I was the executive director. Overall, the Lab to Market is a national-wide suite of programs with the purpose of fostering an entrepreneurship mindset and in entrepreneurial competencies in academics. So it's delivered by Canadian universities from British Columbia all the way here, Memorial in Newfoundland and Labrador. We, in conjunction with Memorial University, we offer the Lab to Market Ocean. So we are one of the few that is a specific cohort, again, looking at the opportunity of creating more ocean startups. It's an 8-week full-time program. So the students get, it's a team-based program. So we have, it's a team of the student, their supervisor, they're then matched. If they don't come with an industry mentor, they're then matched with an industry mentor during the program. And the purpose is for these researchers to look at what they're doing in the lab, at their research with a different lens, with that commercialization lens, with that applied lens. And a lot of the focus on the program is customer discovery. So again, we have top-notch world experts, facilitators, and what we want is for these academics to start learning a bit of that business lingo. Again, customer discovery, massive piece, market sizing, stakeholder engagement, intellectual property, all that is taught in the course, but it's really more than that as well. So we really want and see a lot of these researchers becoming better communicators, a lot of these students. And again, we have 60 to 70%, depending on the cohort, we have international students. And I don't know if I mentioned, but when I talk about students, it's graduate students, so PhD, master's, postdocs, or very recent graduates that are eligible for the program. But again, we see them again having better communication skills, how to communicate what you're doing in the lab to an audience that is not an expert on your research. They increase their professional networks because they're doing customer discoveries. We have folks finding jobs afterwards because of the interviews that they did. Again, they're not building their company yet, but that's a positive outcome as well. And again, it helps them foster a better understanding of the ocean ecosystem because not everything is that bubble in the lab. So by talking to these potential customers, having these mentors really brings a broader understanding on the needs, opportunities, gaps in technology that exist in the ocean sector. In terms of numbers as well, we have had about 75 teams that have participated in the 4 cohorts that we have launched. We have one open right now. So if you are listening to this in Canada, you don't have to be Canadian, but you need to be attached to a Canadian university. Please feel free to apply for the next cohort. And a lot of them continue into entrepreneurship. We have about 25 teams so far that continue commercialization. A lot of them that continue to some of our other programs like the Idea Challenge. The one that I just mentioned that we have the release up today. We had 8 of those teams have done Lab to Market. So again, it's really important for us because we're seeing these folks that a lot of them had never thought about commercialization and never thought about entrepreneurship, starting to get that continuous feeling that they're supported enough and welcome enough into this entrepreneurial world that sometimes can be a bit cliquey, and they're feeling that they can continue, they will continue to give the time to grow their startup, and that for us, that's really important, and that's what we're here for. And since 2020, some of these teams have helped raise over $1 million, which is really good when we're talking about academics that probably have not thought about this before.
You've been around some amazing technologies. Can you discuss a few that have blossomed or blossoming, or that just have really been innovative in a different sense?
Yeah, and I think the story behind some of them are probably even more interesting. So again, we are incredibly lucky that we have an incredible teams. I was just at Startup Fest, like I mentioned, in Montreal. We're one of these companies, FICO. So FICO is in BC, or started in BC, but Rana, one of the co-founders, told me it's like a family. The Ocean Startup Project, you know that you have our backs and you want us to succeed. Because I asked her if she wanted to be in a panel because our funding had just been announced, and I would love for her to talk about her experiences. Like, I always say yes. So but again, FICO is one of those companies. And the interesting thing about FICO too, so they use seaweed to make compostable plastics. They have done basically all our programs from lab to market. That's when I met Rana from the first time, all the way to our challenge boost. But another very interesting piece about this startup is that their co-founder is in PEI. And she found the co-founder because of one of our events, virtual events that the Ocean Startup Project put in place. So again, a lot of our work is about collaboration, is about folks feeling supported. So we do a lot of events where innovators come together that are part of our programs. And Rana met Stacy in one of those programs, and now they are co-founders, even though they are in different provinces. Another company, super interesting story, is Coastal Carbon from Ontario. They started as a phone call to our team at Ocean Startup Project, and it's like, how can we build a company out of this? So they're using AI and blue carbon credits to manage marine protected areas. Both founders, they've been growing rapidly. They received 1.6 million last fall from the Ocean Supercluster here in Canada to work with a St. John's, Newfoundland-based company as a seaweed company called Hold Fast. And both founders made it to 30 under 30 for Forbes. So again, and he started with a phone call. So again, super interesting story. Planetary from Nova Scotia, you probably heard about them before. They have this process that is enabling ocean to safety capture excess atmospheric carbon and store it. And everything is backed by science. And just last week or 2 weeks ago, they just got published by Nature about the technology behind it. We have CoreSphere in Newfoundland and Labrador that just received 2.6 million from the Ocean Supercluster to do this project with other industry partners about helping marine shipping companies to optimize their fuel emissions, operations, maintenance by creating this co-pilot for marine fleet operations. So again, all this virtual stuff.
So, Paula, I've been coming up to Newfoundland and Labrador for almost 20 years myself. And I talk often about the cluster up there, the cluster of industry, academia, government, how they work together, to push technology out and bring collaborations and relationships in. Can you give me a little insight on the Ocean Startup Project, its role in that cluster, and how you see or how you are able to leverage your relationships throughout industry, academia, and government to help your cause as well?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, collaboration partnerships is really at the heart of what we do. And it's impossible if you want to build a self-sustaining ocean ecosystem, startup ecosystem in Canada, and we want to make sure that we have the best supports for our founders so they can continuously go forward. We cannot do that within our OSP bubble. We need to make sure that we are continuously evolving and being in contact and being aware of what's happening within our I'm not going to say ecosystem again, but here I am, our ecosystem, because that's exactly what it is. So there's different ways that we engage with industry partners and even governments. One of the main things that we're even doing it now is that we have our challenge statements. So the challenge statements is what we put forward before we launch or when we launch one of our challenges. And again, the challenge is an opportunity for innovators to come with us with their idea, with their early stage startup, and tackle some of the themes and some of the opportunities that we put forward. Majority of them, really all of them, had that sustainability lens across it. And of course, we cannot do those challenge statements without an incredible input from industry partners. We sit with them. Our association, so Econex has been one here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Econex has been an incredible partner in sitting with us and talking about some gaps that they see, opportunities, best practices that then we can put forward for the innovators to engage with us. This week, I'm running a series of industry tables in different sectors from decarbonization and marine shipping and biotechnology, ocean biotechnology. So all this energy transition, ocean energy. So all this different, they're private tables with just a couple, 3 to 4 industry experts, but we want candidly to hear from them or where they see those gaps and opportunities. So then we can have those challenge statements because we have a challenge coming up at the end of the month. And we want to make sure that our innovators know what industry is there. So they start on the right foot, right? They know, like they start with that knowledge of what is out there and what is needed right now to move things forward. So that is one of the ways that we engage. The other ways that we engage is, again, lab to market oceans. Like I mentioned, we have mentors that are matched with our teams, and we make sure that there's a wide, diverse variety of those mentors because there's a wide, diverse variety of the teams that engage with us. Ocean Advance, again, in a bit of a different way, is we also engage with some of ecosystem partners. And again, we are national. I know you're focused in Newfoundland and Labrador. So what I'm talking, we also are doing with partners nationally, and the roundtables, we even welcome international perspectives because we want our startups to have being globally competitive as well, right? So we want to be strong in Canada and strong around the globe. But Ocean Advance is an incredible association here in Newfoundland and Labrador that is really looking at continue to raise the ocean sector within the province, and we work with them recently, as you know, when we had UK companies from Innovate UK visiting the province, and it was a way for us not only to understand better what is happening in Europe and in the UK, but also for us to showcase some of our amazing startups that we have in the province.